We're barking. It's hot. It's a Wednesday on Weather-Weenies. I'm Alan Holt. This is Ryan Breton. And wow, two more summer-like days. Yesterday was nice. Today, little warm out there.
Real nice.
Yeah.
Real nice. We might have missed the sunny delight by a degree, right?
I think we were too high.
Too high, yeah.
Too high.
Well, it's funny. Yesterday we were talking, and some of the models were like 78 or 80 for a high.
Yeah.
But we were going to have this northwest wind develop, and the air is really dry. So that's, again, another one of these early season examples of how you can be a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Maybe a few more clouds also for like a straight up sunny delight. It doesn't mean no clouds.
Right.
This is a very
We had
scientific
kind of like
metric.
a veil of patch where it was like some high clouds, some cumulus.
Yeah.
But all in all, a real good day.
More than but yeah, sunny delight I try to reserve for like the primo.
Deep blue.
Just the best of the best. This one was I think a little bit too warm. To where you're, in other words, if you're just out and enjoying the weather, you're not thinking about it other than, wow, I can't believe how nice it is. I think today you were thinking it's kind of warm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I like it warm, so it's fine by me.
I like the warm. The sunny delight, I try to tailor it to like the criteria at least to the best of the best.
So today just fell short.
I think yeah.
We'll get to it. We did get an email. Thanks to Dan and Hancock for writing in. He catches the show most nights and have been reading about the super El Nino weather pattern for 2026 in various publications. Before I get to the second part, I believe you have a graphic in here of El Nino I can pull in.
It's the summertime influence.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It also shows the region El Nino.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
And I do have, I think, another one that shows, maybe not. Maybe I don't have that one in here. Yeah.
But anyway, just in case you don't know, super El Nino is looking at the water temperature in the tropical Pacific, particularly that region
yes,
there.
That's where, like, when you're looking at the anomalies on a chart, it'll always be Nino region 3.4, and that is like 5 degrees north and south of the equator, 120 to 170 longitude, I believe.
That's a good memory right there.
I think that's what, I mean, this was the wheelhouse for me
Yeah.
the past like 12 years. But
So when that water is a certain level warmer than average, it's called an El Nino. It's a half degree Celsius warmer than normal or more. And then when it's a half degree Celsius or more cooler than normal, it's La Nina. And all the hype is that a lot of the prediction models have us entering a strong or very strong El Nino. Very strong would be super El Nino.
they're just, I mean, super El Nino is just, it's like
it's a buzzword.
It's a new buzzy term. Yeah. But it would be a very strong El Nino.
And as we've talked about on this show before, the reason why this is important for the summertime is it tends to have an impact on the Atlantic hurricane season.
Specifically, I think the Western Gulf, that area is almost void of landfalling hurricanes. I think there are two, one in Mexico and one in western Louisiana, none in Texas. But during an El Nino, the wind shear just ramps up, and that shear coming in from the Pacific tends to be most prevalent the farther west you are in the Atlantic.
Yeah, if you have stronger winds aloft, it just doesn't allow the thunderstorms and these tropical waves to really gather. It rips them apart.
Yes.
Whereas in a La Nina, there's typically less wind shear. So that's why, and Christian did something on this morning, I believe, the hurricane season outlook is actually for fewer storms than average in the Atlantic. Of course, all it takes is one to make it memorable.
And Bob, notably, in 91, hit New England during an El Nino.
Whether or not that's a coincidence or, everybody here knows my take on that we've been a long time. Not that, like, we're overdue, but we kind of are. It's random by chance in some respect. So anyway, to the second part of Dan's question, I was curious if you could provide some commentary about how this might specifically affect the state of Maine. I don't think in the summertime there's a strong correlation. My hunch would be maybe a little bit, depending on how quickly this comes on, more apt to have more humid weather, those things.
Yes, totally agree.
Maybe some ridging in the Atlantic that can be a little bit more prevalent. The question folks always ask are about how does this impact the winter?
Yeah.
And this chart is a lot. We'll get to it. But as a joke, with anybody I was skiing with in March and April, when the conditions were great, I was saying, enjoy it because the super El Nino is coming. And it's probably not going to be a super cold and super snowy winter.
I mean, it was a fluff factory.
It was.
Winter. I mean,
that was the key to this winter, how cold it was.
Yeah, it was cold and just, I mean, it was fun snow.
Right. Yeah. So this chart, I know there's a lot, but I circled this zone here. This is a distribution of seasonal snowfall from Josh Timlin, who runs the website Context Climate. He does it for a bunch of cities. And actually, our snowiest winters tend to be weak La Niñas, but you see there are outliers. So averaging them, it can always be challenging. But for strong and very strong El Ninos, pretty good correlation for less snow than average.
And it's warmer. Oh, you got the real numbers.
Yeah, so, one thing to always remember when looking back through time, like one of the strong El Ninos is 1957. Of the three very strong or super El Ninos, one is 1982. Our climate has naturally warmed since then. Our winters are warmer on average. But generally speaking, of all the strong and very strong El Ninos since 1950, only 3 were snowier than average, and all the very strong were warmer than average. And the most recent just strong, not super El Nino in 23-24, was warmer than average by about 4 degrees, and we had about half our average snowfall.
So warmer and drier than average.
Yeah, and not necessarily drier, less snowier. We could have more. We could have more rain.
I see what you're saying
not necessarily
there.
precipitation. This is Boston too. I just flipped it, and you see the same trend where strong will go from Portland to Boston. It's the same lower end for both.
And like this past year, I feel like living under just like a trough in the upper level wind pattern. I'd venture to guess that next year or this coming winter, it's zonal. It'll be flatter on the flow. I don't think we're going to be as wavy as
and
La Nina.
We can get more moisture loaded storms too if the southern branch gets more involved too. So sometimes we can get decent rainstorms. Depending. But so that's that. We'll get into it as we get closer to the winter. But Dan and Hancock, thank you for the email.
I feel like we could just wrap up Weather Weenies on that note.
I know.
Do we have to talk about?
I think we do because
it's getting better.
It's improved.
I think it's getting better.
It's kind of improved.
Yeah.
So this disturbance that's diving out of Canada has its origins like north of Hudson Bay. It's like in the Arctic Circle, really cold pocket of air with it. And notably, it's not big. Like the precipitation shield
No, it's not a big one, no.
So it's kind of trended somewhat west, with some of the heavier precipitation more favored to be in New Hampshire and western Maine, not so much in eastern and northern Maine.
Also way faster.
Faster for sure, too.
Yeah, way faster.
So it looks like Friday night, Saturday morning is the wettest period and probably drying out. Particularly farther away from the coast Saturday afternoon, but even at the coast, it could be drying before the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then Sunday...
probably less wind, too.
Less wind,
being
too.
Farther away on Saturday, yeah.
Absolutely. And then Sunday, the low is far away, but there is some upper-level energy, and it's pretty cold aloft. So we probably have morning sun and then pop up some showers.
It probably doesn't look that filled in. That's poor resolution on the simulated radar, but the gist is, hit and miss pop-up showers in the afternoon.
And with it being so cold aloft, a lot of times in these setups, we can get little small hail. And there could even be that tomorrow in like southern Maine to the North Shore of Massachusetts. If we get a few little cells, there might be a little hail in them. Nothing severe.
No.
But that's what we tend to get with these cold air aloft setups.
Yeah, I'm liking Sunday, the improvement there, mid-60s.
Yeah, and I think that if you got outdoor plans, even Saturday, second half of the day, if you're in Bangor, like...
Just going to be cool.
It's fine. It's cool.
It's cool.
But it's not going to be a driving rain.
I think you're wearing jackets on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, not puff.
But we went from what could have been an all-day rain in a lot of the state to really a southern, western Maine, New Hampshire situation that's largely Friday night, Saturday morning.
I'm glad it's sped up, too. I mean, I did not want a lingering offshore low.
No, and pretty much all the guidance today sped it up.
That's great.
So
that's good news.
So much so when I came in for the noon, I had to adjust it because everything that came in this morning sped it up. Euro, GFS, NAM, everything was speeding it
Now we're getting high-res eyes on it, too, which is...
Right.
All right. We're getting the 10-minute cue in the ears, I think, so...
Remember the email.
Yeah, we enjoy the band. It gives us something to talk about other than just plain old weather, right?
Right.
weather-weenies@newcentermaine.com if you want to send one in. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.